I'm not. I don't think that they haven't done anything. I think they are doing things, but they're just so they're just so sporadic that there's having no benefit. I mean, I think things like the 24/7 title and the wild card rule and having Goldberg and Undertaker show up. I think these are all moves to try and do something, but. I just don't think it's working, and they're trying to be hip. Maybe I don't know. In terms of what they can do, Matt, is there anything that WWE, are gonna be able? I don't think they really can do much, can they? Other than concentrate on their own product, I don't think they're going to be able to sort of do a Ring of Honor thing and go, well, when they tried to block them out of Madison Square Garden and stuff like that. I don't see that they're going to be able to compete. With they've got the money, but even Tony Khan, he's a billionaire. He's not doing so bad. So I don't suspect, Matt, that they're going to have problems from sort of WWE doing any underhanded moves with anything like that, because it seems like the more they do that, the more they just generate better publicity for AEW. So I think it's just best they concentrate on themselves. What do you think, Matt? Is there anything you can see happening?
Yeah, it's not got to that point yet, has it? WWE are still sitting pretty, they have all the big name talents and they have like the sort of fan base that everyone knows about, and the wrestlers, they're getting all the TV time, they have this established brand. It's not like they're hitting the panic buttons wondering what they're going to do. I feel like maybe in 6 months or a year they may have to make some big decisions, when sort of certain wrestlers' contracts are expiring and they might not want to renew, and the wrestling may still be on the decline, so that may be a time when they start considering it. But I think for the next year or so they're pretty safe, just sort of business as usual for now. There's no point in panicking until you actually see what the actual competition is capable of.
Yeah, fair enough. Another question here that's sort of leading on to that from Clarky, another new emailer. Thank you for emailing him. Always good. He's got a very interesting sort of fantasy here, but he wants us to answer. Hi, love the podcast, guys. Just wanted to say, what if in 2020, around December time, after a whole year, WWE are losing the ratings war and AEW does go on a Tuesday night like they have said with Tuesday Night Dynamite, and start winning. What then for WWE, and where will it get them, and could WWE run out of business? Matt, I'll let you take that one. It's quite a long-winded one there, but 2020, Matt, if it gets to that stage and WWE are losing in a year to AEW, alarm bells ringing then?
Well, they put themselves in a difficult position because they've sort of made themselves publicly traded now, so they have to impress the board and stock and all that. So, and that's where the problem lies. If it was down to Vince, he'd just do whatever he wanted, and it'd all be fine. Even though they've been losing viewers for the last, God knows how long now, but it's been a while and it's been going down and down, WWE still remains a profitable company. It still makes a lot of money. The viewership dropping off doesn't really affect them all that much to be successful. It would be a little bit of a concern for them, I imagine, or a big concern, as their fan base was changing and going to a different product. It would be a worry, but they would still continue to trade, and it would still be good. They'd always have that opportunity to come back. I don't feel like they'd ever go bust. I feel like the deal they have now in Saudi Arabia, that's a huge lifeline for them, and that's 10 years long.
Yeah, and as we've said before, they make more money doing those shows than they do at WrestleMania. That's just nuts. They've had to wait 30 years of WrestleMania, get it to 30 years in stadiums, and then this guy comes along and just pays them even more than all that work. That's incredible, and that's where they're at. And isn't that, Matt, one of the faults here, that the fact that in the business sense, WWE are doing great, but in a performance sense, they're doing terribly bad, and it's hard to find that range of how do you really assess yourselves when the performance isn't really mattering, because the money is coming in more than it ever has done. The TV deals, for instance, with Fox have just been sorted. So I think that's one of the key problems, isn't it, Matt? The fact that I've always compared it, Matt, to and I've always used this analogy all the time, but Manchester United in our country here, Matt. The fact that on the pitch, they haven't performed anywhere near they're supposed to be in the last 6 years. But business-wise, they're still the biggest franchise club in the world, sold all over the place. And they still have the best sponsorship deals. And so for the owners, they're not that bothered because, the franchise is there. But the actual performance of it isn't great. And I do feel that's the same with WWE. I just think it's a very similar thing. That yes, there's money coming in, but the actual what they're delivering, the quality is not up to scratch, not up to par where it should be. But it's very hard to sort of assess it, isn't it, Matt, from a business standpoint? I mean, because you think you're doing brilliant with sales and merch.
All these years now, they've been trying to create competition. Even with themselves, Raw and SmackDown pretending there's a competition, NXT, pretending that is competition. Now the real competition has arrived, so maybe they will thrive from this. Maybe WWE will actually find that killer instinct that it once had. And if all else fails, if it really goes down and it really starts to suck and things are really hitting rock bottom, they may really drastically shake things up. We know Triple H is waiting in the wings. We know that he's ready. He's sitting there every day that goes by. He's like, I could do this. So one day, that trigger has to be pulled. I mean, who else are you going to give it to? Shane McMahon? Oh, God, please, no.
Yeah, it almost feels like AEW is a version of Triple H's vision. Because I'm sure he'd go that route. Anybody that knows Triple H or has listened to Triple H about what he likes as a fan, he loves that old NWA stuff. He loves Ric Flair. He loves, Dusty. He likes that old Harley Race time of the NWA, very early WCW. That's what he was into. He's tried to bring that into NXT. You can see it with War Games and things like that. That's his kind of style. And it's almost like AEW have just taken that from underneath his nose and they're running with it. And I'm sure Triple H must be sitting there thinking, God, if only. Because,
I think to me that this is the interesting thing, isn't it? When you think about AEW versus WWE, if you just cut out SmackDown and you cut out Raw and you think AEW versus NXT, what Triple H is producing, is the gulf of class really that different? And Triple H has created something out of nothing and made new superstars, and the fans have bought into these superstars. And that's why the disappointment started, because when they reach Raw and SmackDown, just so underutilized. So the gulf difference between AEW and NXT isn't that massive.
No, there's better competition between those shows than there is a WWE pay-per-view. A WWE pay-per-view versus an AEW of what they've just done, or All In, hands down, I'm AEW every time. But AEW versus NXT takeovers, that's much more close. And if NXT could really be given the push, that would be the one you'd go to. In terms of what that sort of style represents, that they've got and what's important about it, Matt, when we talk about that, is it's not about star power, is it? NXT, Gargano, these guys, they could be big names, but they're not big names. What it is, it's about the product, the way it's produced, the way it looks, the way it feels. Maybe there's a little bit more. I mean, even the entrances in NXT are better. They are absolutely better than what they are on the main show at the minute, easily. There's just a lot more thought gone into it. It's just one of those things. But we'll see. But it's an interesting point. But yes, I don't know. A year's time, I'm sure we'll be talking about it, Matt, goodness knows where we'll be. Who knows? There could even be a third company by then. Who knows what's going to happen? Okay, interesting name here, Malice O'Malley. I think I've said that right. Malice O'Malley is also another first-time emailer in. He's also got an AEW question as well. So it's all about AEW here tonight at the moment. Loved the show very much. Really captivated me all night. Mate, I watched this show 3 times now, and I thought this was very well done. What is the expectations for you on their TV, and do you think they will be cutting promos in the middle of the ring like WWE do? Also, how long will an AEW TV show actually be? I've also heard that they are not going to have as many pay-per-views. Yes. So I have no idea about the TV deal. I think I'm guessing an hour and a half at first. I don't really know. It could be anything because by then you might look at AEW and go, they haven't got a big enough roster, but by then they may have. They may even add more names because don't forget they're only thinking about pay-per-views they're doing at the moment. So a lot of those guys were included in the Battle Royal. They weren't really doing anything, really, if you think about Jimmy Havoc and guys like that. So, and he did say, Matt, in the interview we'd done with him, that they'd already pre-recorded his stuff. So I'm guessing that's going to be shown, much further down the line to sort of introduce his character. So I'm guessing that's like it for everybody else, quite frankly. But, yeah, I mean, they could do a 2-hour show easily, I'm sure, on TNT. And the other thing with that is as well, don't forget TNT, they're not exactly WWE's biggest fan, are they? They used to have WCW on it. I'm sure they're going to do them some good deals. Tony Khan's well in with them. And they may even have a better sort of connection than what... See, the problem is with WWE, they've almost got to go onto Fox and prove themselves that they can get ratings, and this worst possible time at the moment, especially for SmackDown, I kind of feel like they're going to have problems with that. But AEW, if they went up against them on a Tuesday night like they keep going on about, I genuinely think there's some competition there, and I think that TNT could easily be kind to them to help them out, and I don't know, do little things like they used to do for WCW, put them on like 2 minutes before the 8 o'clock start, beat them to the commercial every time, things like that. One thing that Cody Rhodes has said though, Matt, about the TV product, which I was quite happy to hear about, he said there will never be a time where we're going to cut for a commercial during a match. I thought, hallelujah. Because if there's one thing that pisses me off every time I watch a Raw, they start a match and you get really into it, and then they go, "Oh, we'll be back after this. What will happen?" And then that just takes me so out of it. I absolutely despise it when they do it, and I'm really glad that they're not going to do it on AEW. I'm glad he's addressed that, because that would be a great move, quite frankly, because that just really takes me out of it, Matt. And pay-per-views, Matt. I mean, Cody has also said that they may not do one a month. He thinks they only may be doing 6, which is a smart move, Matt, because I think less is more. And they are the only dogs. They're the only guys currently. I know WWE do still sell on pay-per-view, but let's face it, they're all about streaming and the network. With the pay-per-view business, Matt, I mean, it's it's their oyster at the moment, because in terms of wrestling, there's nobody else out there that are going to do pay-per-views like AEW are going to be able to do. So they're going to make some decent money out of just 6 anyway. They could probably make as much as WWE in a whole year for that $9.99. So if not saying they're going to get to those levels, but I mean, on an average, if you divide it all out, I mean, it could be the same. Depends how much you sell the pay-per-view for. But, there's a good chance, Matt, that 6 might be better than 12, 13, 14, how many WWE do these days. What do you think about it, Matt? I mean, is that a way you'd play it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of that, waiting around for these matches to happen. It's like the way that New Japan does it, isn't it? You know who's challenging for that title like months in advance, and it just makes the the anticipation even more. You sit there, you watch the progress of these superstars and where they get to. In WWE, it seems too fast turnaround, isn't it? You go from one,